While the uproar over the NSA's data collection program continues, there's another government agency compiling data on Americans. This time it's financial data, like billions of credit card transactions. And some members of Congress are pretty upset about it.
They don't want you to have the data, and you're taking it anyway under the auspices of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. You take their data. They don't want you to have it, and you don't care.
House Financial Services member Representative Sean Duffy is concerned that the newly created Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is violating the Fourth Amendment. But CFPB Director Richard Cordray disagrees.
We are not looking to monitor individual consumers' credit card accounts. We have no interest in what individuals like you and I are spending or what our habits or patterns are. What we're trying to do is monitor the practices of large institutions, how they treat things like late fees, interest rate changes, and so forth for their customers.
Morgan Drexen, a legal support firm, is suing the CFPB for requesting their clients' sensitive personal financial data. Morgan Drexen claims that giving this data to the CFPB would have violated state bar's laws.
They wanted information about bankruptcy services that our bankruptcy lawyers were providing to their bankruptcy clients, and we said, well, that's protected by the attorney-client privilege, and they took the position that they could just take it without regard to the privilege. That was a big problem for us, and we refused to produce that information.
A month later, the CFPB launched a suit against Morgan Drexen, saying the company made misleading claims about its debt relief services to consumers. CFPB Director Richard Cordray said the company took advantage of people who were struggling. The company charged consumers illegal fees and deceived them about the services provided. But Morgan Drexen thinks the CFPB's suit was motivated by revenge.
We tried to cooperate with them, but it became clear to us at some point that they were on a mission to simply put us out of business.
Morgan Drexen claims the CFPB is an illegitimate agency because it lacks the checks and balances of other government agencies. But proponents of the CFPB say that's just the point.
I do think that that was a conscious decision made in Dodd-Frank to give them independence so that they could advocate on behalf of consumers and not fall into all of the things that all of these other regulators fall into, which is the undue influence and lobbying of Wall Street.
What's most unusual about the CFPB is it's under the jurisdiction of the Federal Reserve, meaning they get their money from the Fed and are not accountable to Congress. But they're not responsible to the Fed either because they are entitled to their funds without question from the Board of Governors.
The NSA, at least, is checked by the congressional appropriations process, but the CFPB is not.
The CFPB aimed to monitor 80% of all credit card transactions this year. That's over 42 billion transactions on 933 million credit cards. Whether this comforts or frightens you depends on your level of trust within the government's newest agency. In Washington, D.C., Perianne Boring, RT.